Which one's Amber? Hi, Amber.
Hi,
How
Ben.
are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. Come on, sit down. How you been?
Very well, thank you. Better lately. How have you been?
Good. Good.
So, I know that you're very busy, and I have a lot of questions.
Oh, fire away. Ask me whatever you want.
Great, thank you. What role do you play in your new movie, Forces of Nature?
Well, Forces of Nature is basically I play a guy who's kind of sort of a conservative, pretty straight-laced guy who figures that he's got his life, you know, pretty much mapped out for him, and he's about to get married.
No, I love you more.
And he feels pretty confident about it, and then he runs up against this woman.
You are a god.
Who is sort of all the things that he's afraid maybe he's missing in his, by getting married. I mean, she's exciting, she's spontaneous, she's scary, and you know, really sexual, and I think it's really funny, and it's interesting, and it's a different, unconventional kind of look at romantic comedies, that kind of thing.
And what is the most outrageous thing you've ever done to get a role?
You know, like a lot of guys, I think, make the mistake of like, you know, I went into the audition with a gun, and I pulled it on the director to show him I was serious, and I always thought, like, that's a bad idea, you
Right.
know? You don't really want to do that, you know, and I never had to really go the Monica Lewinsky route to kind of get a job. Yeah, I guess so. You know, mostly I've been pretty lucky. I haven't had to like jump through too many hoops. I've gotten rejected plenty, but I kind of just took it like a man and went home instead of going back and like burning the building down.
Well, it looks like it's turning out, so I don't think you're going to be turned down too much anymore.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How do you feel Hollywood has affected you the most?
It's just turned me into a terribly selfish, egomaniacal, self-centered person.
I don't know what your reputation is in this town.
And there's a danger in kind of believing your own press and believing that you're kind of, that you deserve all the kind of praise that you sort of get.
Don't sell yourself short, sir.
As long as you don't believe your own, you know, bull, it's, you can be okay. You know what I mean?
Good answer. And what is your biggest goal at this point in your life?
I'd like to be happy. I'd like to get married. I'd like to have kids. There's a lot of things I'd like to do in my personal life, you know. Professionally, Matt and I are producing this movie this summer, a low-budget movie, and eventually I'd like to direct something. But I don't have any one, you know, fixed goal.
How does it feel to be considered a sex symbol?
I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of times what happens is that because you play certain kinds of roles in movies and they're designed to be very appealing, people become sort of more appealing than they really are. I'd rather kind of be thought of as an actor and as a writer and as a, you know, a filmmaker ultimately than as like just a, you know, some dude in his underwear on a calendar, you know what I mean, with a grease on his abdomen and being like,
Very nice.
you know what I mean?
Not very
But,
superficial, right? How would you describe your ideal partner?
I think as soon as you like have these preconceived ideas that, you know, where you're filling out a checklist and you're saying, I'm looking for somebody who will cook and clean and wash the dishes, but will also be into long walks on the beach and likes to ride horses and, you know, and then you're like on the dating game and it's Chuck Woolery and that whole thing's a disaster.
I haven't known you that long, but I think something may be wrong with you.
I think it's important that to be on one another's team, you know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta like
Work together.
support each other. Yeah.
Right. I agree with you completely. And if you could change something about yourself, what would that be?
I'd always make sure that the people I cared about in my life knew how much I cared about them. Somebody who was really, really smart once told me that the point of life really is trying to become the best version of yourself and the mistakes that you've made. You always have things you wish you could have done differently. I think the defining measure of who we are is the way that we deal with that and how we try to overcome those difficulties.
I agree completely.
Do you?
Yeah. And this has been an experience of a lifetime. I feel as though a mentor can be anyone, your next door neighbor, your grandparent, anyone you feel connected with. And I'm just lucky that I feel I connected with you instantly.
One of the most interesting things I learned when I got to meet all these people who I really thought were like so cool, you know, all these people that I've been watching my whole life, I thought were so interesting and incredible. I found like they were kind of just like me, or just like people I kind of went to high school with.
Right.
The truth is that there's not that much magic or difference between anybody and the people that are on television or in the movies. It's sort of a question of what you do with your own life, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that it's a lot more possible and accessible to do the things you want to do than you kind of think it is, in a way. Not to get too like Tony Robbins on
No,
you.
no, you're not. No, this is good for me. I need this. I'm going to go home and write them down. Everything you've said here is going in my Ben file.